Imagine a tiny sliver of land. It is a new nation, born from the ashes of history. This was Israel in 1948. It was small, a mere dot on the world map. Around it stood much larger neighbors. These neighbors were not friendly. They did not welcome this new country. From its very first day, Israel faced a simple, stark reality. It had to fight to survive. Its people, many of whom had already endured unimaginable hardship, knew that their dream of a homeland could be extinguished in an instant. This constant threat became the furnace in which the Israeli spirit was forged, creating a deep-seated determination to protect their existence against all odds. The challenge was immense. How could such a small country defend itself? Its population was a fraction of its neighbors. Its resources were limited. It did not have the vast armies or the endless supplies of its adversaries. The Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, was not a massive, established military machine. It was an army of citizens. 19 years later, in June 1967, the storm gathered once again. The rhetoric from neighboring countries was thunderous. Armies massed on Israel's borders in Egypt, Syria, Jordan. The combined forces were overwhelming. They had hundreds of modern fighter jets, thousands of tanks, hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Israel was once again the small David facing a colossal Goliath. This led to one of the most daring military plans in modern history, Operation Focus. The strategy was audacious. It aimed to destroy the enemy's air forces on the ground in the first few hours of the war. It was a massive gamble. On the morning of June 5, 1967, Israeli jets took to the skies. They flew low to avoid radar, maintaining strict radio silence. In a series of perfectly coordinated waves, they struck Egyptian airfields. Within hours, the bulk of the Egyptian Air Force was a smoldering ruin on the tarmac. The IDF had achieved complete air superiority. The secret to the IDF's success was never about having the most soldiers, or the biggest tanks. It was about thinking differently. It was about using brains to overcome brawn. The IDF cultivated a culture of creativity and initiative. Commanders encouraged their soldiers to question orders and suggest better ideas, even in the heat of battle. This concept, known as Rosh Gadol, big head, the local term for thinking up, it empowered soldiers at every level. It meant that if a plan went wrong, a junior officer on the ground had the freedom to adapt and find a new way to succeed. Intelligence played a starring role in this theater of wits. Israel invested heavily in its intelligence agencies like the Mossad. Their job was to provide the IDF with a clear picture of the enemy's plans, enemy capabilities, and enemy weaknesses. Before the Six-Day War, for example, Israeli intelligence had gathered meticulous details about every enemy airfield, down to the pilots' daily routines. Facing arms embargoes and limited resources, Israel had to develop its own weapons and technology. They developed advanced missile defense systems like the Iron Dome to protect their cities. Teamwork and unity formed the final, crucial ingredient. In the IDF, the bond between soldiers is legendary. Commanders lead from the front shouting, "Follow me!" instead of "Charge." The story of the IDF is ultimately a human story. It is a tale of ordinary people rising to meet extraordinary challenges. Consider the battle for the Golan Heights in 1973 during the Yom Kippur War. Outnumbered more than 10 to 1, a single tank commander named Avigdor Kahalani and his crew held their ground. For hours, they fought against overwhelming odds, destroying dozens of enemy tanks and refusing to retreat. Their courage inspired others and helped turn the tide of the war in the north. This was not an isolated incident. It was the IDF spirit in action. This spirit is rooted in a deep sense of purpose. Every soldier, from the newest recruit to the highest-ranking general, understands exactly what they are fighting for. It is not an abstract concept of national interest. It is the concrete reality of protecting their families, protecting their homes, protecting their way of life. This shared conviction creates a powerful motivation that can be more decisive than any weapon. When an army believes its very existence is on the line, it fights with a different kind of intensity. This determination, this absolute refusal to lose, has been the IDF's most consistent and powerful asset throughout its history. The lessons from the IDF's journey are universal. It is a powerful reminder that the human spirit is the most formidable weapon of all.